Well, in my last video about Bud Light, I said that I wouldn't do another video unless I had something to talk about. And boy, oh boy, do we have something to talk about. The market cap. Well, you remember how it was $4 billion down? Well, that's no longer accurate. It is now nearly $7 billion down. And it says the bleeding hasn't stopped. On the contrary, it's only getting worse. So I think that's pretty significant. I think that's pretty unbelievably massive. Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch is taking an absolute pounding. This is unbelievable. People are not having this, and they are not accepting it. They're not lying down. They're saying, we genuinely care about this, and it makes me hopeful. Because, truth be told, there is nothing okay about the transgender activist community. You look at the way they treat people online, you look at the way they treat people in the real world, and it is despicable. You know, this whole thing about having compassion for trans people, this type of commentary that you see, it's always vicious when it comes to trans. Because transgenderism, whether the person is trans or trans adjacent, it is a mental illness. And you can see it by the way that these people function in the world. Because there's no compassion, there's no empathy, there's no love. It is ritualistic, cult like chanting, anger, fervor. They're trying to genocide us. They're trying to genocide us. They keep like rocking back and forth. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, they're disagreeing with me. That's basically what it is. They're disagreeing with me. They don't think that I should be able to sexualize kids, so that's genocide. And I guess in a way, if you're looking at it from their point of view, they're sterilizing themselves. So I guess their way of reproducing is by going after your kids and sexualizing them into their cult. So I guess from their point of view, yeah, you are kind of genociding them because you're not allowing them to prey on your kids. Because they have given up the ability to reproduce because they're in their feelings and they were sold on a lie. Now, to be honest, I understand why the suicide rate is so high in the trans community. I do. Because you have somebody who's mentally ill, who society is telling them, doctors are telling them, politicians are telling them, you know what? You don't have to work on this mental illness. The world should change for you. And by the way, if you give your doctors a fucking fortune, if you give them hundreds of thousands of dollars, they will butcher you physically. They will put you on a bunch of drugs. And by the end of it, you'll be the gender to which you think you are. And you know what happens? They pay the doctors. They go to the therapy. And it doesn't improve. It doesn't get better. Because what they're being sold on, what they're being told is a lie. And so now they're not happy. They're not the gender to which they claim to be. It's obvious to anyone who looks at them that they are not a male or female. And so they realize that they squandered that money they could have used to help their family. They're not in a good place. They've sterilized themselves and basically eliminated their future. You know, I try to be empathetic and think about that. And if I had gone through that, I might end my life too. That is tragic, which is why people like myself and others are so vehemently against this. Because this is robbing young people of their future. Telling them, hey, you know what? Cut off your penis and cut off your balls and take these hormones and you will have everything that you want in your life. All your confusion will go away. It won't. Which is why people are so against this. Not to mention the fact that it turns people into these malicious human beings that are just cruel. And I was watching a thing from Alex Stein, and he was at a trans event, you know, doing his trolling thing. And they were physically attacking him, throwing water on him and throwing soda and drinks, just trying to assault him. And somebody comes up and goes, I hope you kill yourself, to Alex Stein. I hope you kill yourself. If suicide is such a huge deal in the trans community, if it's this huge, massive thing, that would be such a sensitive subject. How could somebody so comfortably say that in public? I hope you kill yourself. That's what he said to Alex Stein. And I watched that video. It blew my mind because there is just nothing there in terms of like, well, maybe this is a big deal. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe I should have some compassion. No, everything is dialed up to 11. And I don't understand it because it's not normal. Treating other human beings this way is not normal. And the compassion that I have for the trans community, it's sort of getting washed away because every time you see this violence, it's like, my pity for you, my pity for your condition, it is being replaced by a righteous anger because of what you're doing to other people. I want trans people to get all the help that they need. I think that's pretty universal. From Charlie Kirk and everyone, we want these mentally ill people to get the help they need, but it seems like no matter where you turn, there's an incentive to keep these people miserable, dependent on the medical system, dependent on, the Democrat voting system. It just seems like they're trying to churn out more sterilized, angry, stupid people, and it's hard to watch. So there are a couple comedic clips that I want to show you after that.
Go, 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 go. Oh my God. It's fucking night, boys, feel me?
That's pretty funny.
Go, 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 go.
Go on, you type in what the transgender population is. Do you know how many transgender people live in America?
0.5 of 1%.
Well, the number says 1.5 million, right? But what they're saying 1.5 million as identified as transgender, it's not really 1.5 million.
Right.
It's a lot of Gen Zs that are confused. The question becomes, how many transgenders in America are over 21 years old? Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you know how small of an audience that is? And you're trying to target that audience, and you go away from your beer drinkers, and now you lose 30% in a week.
$4 billion.
You know, when you go online,
it's more than $4 billion now. Whew, that's not good. Let's check up on our friend the quartering. Yeah, I made a video about the quartering. I was not so happy with him. I made a video. It's pretty scathing. I made a thumbnail that emulates his thumbnails because the thing about the quartering is I don't think he's very genuine. I think he's disingenuous, and I think that he's prone to act a certain way, like when he wants to be in PR mode, but then when he starts drinking or when he starts getting in a certain mood, he'll do things like post like, "Hey guys, this random creator, they stole my meme intro." And the thing is, he was talking about how somebody clipped out the meme intro at the beginning of the quarterings videos and put it in front of their video. And you want to know something funny? You want to know something like genuinely interesting? You have Nerd Law Clips. Yeah, Nerd Law Clips. Great channel.
Hey guys, Manscaped and the Testicular Cancer Society have partnered up to introduce the TCA
to evolve and
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
So millions of people are liking it.
Oh, very nice. It's very cool, Bateman. But that's
This is the
what do you think? Nice. But wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. White. Impressive. Very nice.
This is the quarterings intro, by the way.
Let's see Paul Allen's.
wrong, Patrick? You're sweating.
Negative. Cancel it.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. But it's like Jeremy was having this huge tantrum on Twitter because, and this wasn't the channel, by the way. He was talking about another channel. Oh, they copied my thumbnails, and it's like, having a big old fucking temper tantrum about that. And Jeremy his fat ass thinking he owns memes because he pays his editors to make them. Are you? Look, I have the right to make fun of the quartering, so I made a thumbnail in his style just to fuck with him because, it's like I don't hate the guy. I just don't think he's very sincere, and I think that he says some pretty fucking stupid stuff sometimes. But we'll see past that. We'll see past that. We'll watch a video from the quartering.
What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day.
Cut down on that drinking, Jeremy. Too many Bud Lights.
It's my birthday, so if you're watching this video,
happy birthday, Jeremy. How old are you? 40?
As a gift for this birthday, I would just love if you would just leave a like on the video and consider sharing it. But
well, I won't share it, Jeremy, but sure, why not?
The Bud Light situation is developing seemingly every hour or so as their market cap loss now has crossed $5 billion.
As of this was an hour ago, Jeremy. It's 6.65. It's nearly 7 billion
in the last 48 hours. Are there other market forces at play here? Maybe, but Bud Light was on a historic run of nonstop gains to their highest stock number all year long, and new reports of not only local bars and customers being outraged, but distributors now being very concerned surely isn't helping their
I'd be
stock
furious.
price at
Oh
all.
my God.
You know what else? I absolutely love it. And secondary birthday gift, just letting everyone know, Coffee Brand Coffee has
God damn it, Jeremy. Let's see.
I'd love to earn your business. And
Jeremy, let me just say, you could have the best fucking coffee in the world. I still wouldn't buy a damn thing from you. Because, let me just say, you have scammed your audience in the past for years with Kamikoto and established titles. And it's not just you. No, the Daily Wire has done it. Many other people have done it, but they've used this thing of, well, other people are doing it, so it's okay. No, you are responsible for yourself. And if other people are doing something wrong, kind of like BetterHelp. I gave Ethan Klein shit for doing that. And his thing was, well, everyone does it. Everyone used, BetterHelp. It's like, well, maybe, but standards.
I'm hoping today you'll take the plunge and give my coffee to your cocoa a try.
Not even. I would buy Tim Pool's coffee before yours, Jeremy.
Experts are now weighing in. The controversy over Bud Light's partnerships may have legs. Quote, "It's way too early to tell whether or not the controversy will ultimately hurt the brewer's bottom line," said Evercore ISI analyst Robert Ottenstein. Nevertheless, there is plenty of anecdotal evidence showing its potential to wreak havoc. What do you think, Annie? Did Bud Light go woke? Yeah.
God. Look, I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. But here's my issue with this. It's like, you've got a job to do, Jeremy. Give the information to your customers. I love joking around all the time, but if you're going to sit around and pet your fucking cat, or do like Hassan Piker does and shove your face full of food, like, when Hassan reacts to something, he starts eating. It's like, at least Tim Pool, for all the things we can criticize Tim Pool on, and he's got some pretty obnoxious takes. I've never seen Tim Pool, during like one of his Timcast videos, stop and be like, "Oh, it's my dog or my chicken. Oh, here's the chicken. Oh, it's a good little chicken." Or like, stop to be like, "Hey, guys, Here's Tim Cass brand Tim. 90% more Tim in this. It's like, dude, just save this for the fucking end of the video. I'm sure people would love to see you pet your pussy after you've gotten to after you've gotten past the prominent information.
Should people buy coffee brand coffee
No.
after Anheuser Busch delivered custom made cans to Mulvaney with Mulvaney's mug on them to the influencer? Kid Rock used Bud Light cans for target practice. Squabbles have broken out in bars, and distributors are canceling events featuring the iconic Clydesdale horses. On top of that, not only we saw Travis Tritt come out and say, this is off my rider. John Rich came out and said it's off his rider, and
yeah, they're not putting it on their tours anymore, and I think that's huge. That is massive. That's multiple shows across multiple states. At least in the case of most of them, yeah, it's they do tours all over. That's pretty substantial. Yeah, no, it's a big change, and when you have people out there in the country world with huge fans like Kid Rock, and he's saying, I ain't buying this. You can bet your bottom dollar it's going to cost you.
And then John Rich has just recently said that he's going to just remove it. He may remove it from his bar altogether, which I think would be great. This boycott seems to have more legs than most, Justin Kendall, editor of beer industry trade publication Brewbound, told the Post. Yeah, I mean, it's got more legs. Let's look at just, as of today, when we look at the market cap, let's look at the market cap reaction to this, okay? So the way you calculate, if we look at market cap, which is essentially all the money invested, all the shares out there at the certain share price, you see today the stock is still down about 1.17%. It's recovered a little bit, but it looks like it's heading back down. The current market cap is 114.26 billion. When this started, wait, that can't be right. 114.26. This is reported at 132 billion on March 31st. Even if we go into April 3rd, which is 2 days after the initial backlash or the initial ad, was at 132. So you have serious drop. You're well over $5 billion. You crossed the $3 billion on April 11th. And then if we look at the market cap for today, yikes.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate the Google market cap is. I wouldn't necessarily trust it immediately because, I mean, I don't know, things change and things can be slightly inaccurate, but the list he pulled up before, I think that's right. And we see here, as of the 12th, it's 125, which is down from its 132. So that is huge. That is massive. And for anyone who thinks that they're just sitting around drinking, laughing at this, no. You have to understand, at the upper echelon, all these people think about is money. The reason they did this, and I imagine they're like, okay, we may take a little bit of a hit. They were not anticipating a $7 billion drop. I can guarantee you, they would not have done the advertisement if they knew it would be a $7 billion drop. They just wouldn't. Because this isn't even the end of it. It's continuing to go down. So they probably thought, well, there'll be rumblings from like Steven Crowder and like other conservative people, but it really wouldn't be anything. It's not going to catch a storm. They're not going to make this a huge deal. And they miscalculated. Absolutely.
114.62 billion. I think, 114.62 billion. It must have been a little higher back here, but has now crossed the $5 billion threshold.
Yep.
Yeah, well, anyway, it seems like everybody's listening a little bit different. Was that 4 billion lost the other day? The stock's gone down now over like
6.6.
last 5 days. We can see it's gone down twice in significant spats. And again, they continue to refuse to comment online about anything. And again,
That is not true. They have commented. And they commented one time. Let me see if I can find it. Bud Light. Let's see if it's here.
At Olive Garden,
come on.
nobody loves Alfredo quite like we do. We make it from
This morning, backlash brewing against
Brewing. You see what he did there?
The beer, including music
What was the response?
on social media. Not a single tweet from either since the day of Mulvaney's Instagram video. But the company did release a statement after false claims were made about the Bud Light marketing team being fired, saying, "From time to time, we produce unique commemorative cans for fans and for brand influencers like Dylan Mulvaney. This commemorative can was a gift to celebrate a personal milestone and is not for sale to the general public."
Bud Light had been.
So yeah, they have come out with a statement. Who can expect Jeremy to get it right? He's got 10 videos to do a day and he's shilling his stupid shit and time playing with his fucking cat. But yeah, no, they did come out and make a statement. And the statement was to double down, which is fucking foolish. You shouldn't be doing that. Unless you're going to address this thing head on, you shouldn't be speaking. Now, whatever your direction is, Bud Light, you should do it with your chest out. Because what you're doing right now, it seems extremely cowardly. And this is not going to resonate well with the people that you're trying to so-called win over. Because if the left sees that you're not fighting back, they're going to come after you. This is the problem with trying to use a rabid, mentally ill, ferocious dog to be your ally and bedfellow and customer. You invite these people in, and as Kathleen Kennedy can tell you, it's not always great. She wanted to do away with the loyal, passionate Star Wars fan, who was an older man, but generally harmless. Tip his fedora to a lady. What did they invite in? The fucking Raylos. The goddamn Raylos.
Even the LGBTQ community is pushing back on this. This is an amusing and gratifying report about the hit Bud Light is taking over its recent marketing campaign. One pub in Hell's Kitchen, a New York City neighborhood known for its large and vocal gay community, reported that Bud Light draft sales were down 58% this week, while Bud Light bottle sales were down 70%.
Jesus.
And let's not even talk what's going on in dart leagues. We talked about the dart leagues where they just stopped giving it up. It's hitting everywhere. You see, John Rich says Bud Light sales have fallen off a cliff at Nashville Bar. Nobody seems interested in Bud Light. At John Rich's Nashville Bar, Redneck Riviera, the popular beer has taken a massive hit ever since teaming up with Dylan Mulvaney. People are not happy the company decided to team up with someone who seems to make a mockery of being a woman.
Yep.
Following the collaboration, John Rich hinted that Bud Light would be replaced at Redneck Riviera, and it sounds like that point is rapidly nearing. The member of Big and Rich revealed during an interview with Tucker Carlson that nobody is buying it anymore, and it's not just sitting, and he's not just sitting on cases and cases of beer. That means something has to be done. If it's not selling, then it's gone. Quote, "The customers decide. Customers are king. I own a bar in downtown Nashville. Our number one selling beer up until a few days ago was what? Bud Light."
So you get the point, and he goes on and talks about this. So yeah, it's a major problem. It's a major issue, and it's ongoing. And it's going to continue to get worse because they haven't apologized. And the longer you go without apologizing, the longer you go, the worse it's going to be. To the point where you may reach a certain level where people just aren't going to forgive. And they'll just move on to something else and forever be done with your brand. So that loudmouth bimbo that thought she was going to revamp the brand, she's like, sales are down a little bit, so I have a mandate to change everything. It's like, this is some female thinking. This is why you don't put women in charge. They act in their emotions. They're not thinking rationally and reasonably. They're thinking, let's make this about me. You know, I want to be cool at, you know, at the parties I attend. I want people to think positively of me rather than what's best for the brand. What's going to be good for the brand? What's going to benefit us the most? And honestly, she came to a bad decision. So let me remind you guys, we are at 19 followers. Ladies and gentlemen, one more to hit the next goal. One more of you needs to go over to Rumble. It's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Go to the Fan Advocacy Network. You can find me right there. One more follower. It's what we need. We're building something here. We're going to build a rocket ship to the fucking moon. Maybe I'll make a thumbnail to make fun of the quartering again. Nah, I mean, I already sort of did that. I don't need to repeat myself, but it just really irritates me that he thinks that he has a monopoly on those intro memes. It's like, no, it's mine. It's like, fuck yourself, Jeremy. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.